here again I am back with the chemistry 10th standard chemistry revision, the continuation of the second lesson, acid, bases and the salts. In the last lesson I had given some revision about the diagrams, about the chemical reactions, the most important chemical reactions, page wise what you have to read, and the diagrams also, the important diagrams what you have to study in this lesson. Now coming to the last part of this lesson, about the pH, about the indicators, Indicators are the substances to test acid and bases. Already we have learned about the indicators, that is red litmus paper and the blue litmus paper. Blue litmus paper is used to test the acids. Red litmus paper is used to test the bases. On testing the acids with blue litmus paper, it turns to red. It shows the given solution is acid. On testing the bases or testing any solution with the red litmus paper, it changes to blue. The red changes to blue. Red litmus paper changes to blue, that is base. Blue litmus paper changes to red, that is the acid. So litmus paper is one such indicator which is made up of extract from the lichens, which is used to test the acid and the base. The given solution is acid or the base, that we have discussed in detail about that in the class. So indicators will tell you only the given solution is whether it is acidic or basic. But another indicator here, pH scale, what we say, it tells you how strong is the base or the acid. Okay, it shows you the strength of acid or the base. It shows you the strength of the acid or the base. pH scale is generally a scale with some readings and with different shades of color. Okay, that you can see in your textbook, page number 26. It is in page number 26 about the pH scale. It is given. pH scale is just the scale which measures the strength of the acid or the base. Okay, when a solution is given, okay, you will come to know it is acid or a base by using the indicators. Okay, once you have come to know whether the given solution is acidic or basic, you will come to know how strong is that acid or the base. So you are using a universal indicator, that is universal indicator you will use, that is the pH paper. That is also an indicator. That pH paper you use, that is the universal indicator. You will dip in the solution and it will change the color. It gives different shades of pink or different shades of green or blue. So that color you will match with this pH scale. So here 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14. Okay, so here you can see 7 is the neutral point. This is somewhat green in color, light green in color. As you go here, the shades of green will increase here. You can see in the picture there, in the figure there. And this is light pink here. The shades of pink will increase here. This is in different shades of pink. This is different shades of green or blue. So using the pH or universal indicator, you will get the shades in the paper. That shades you have to match here. For example, in that pH paper, you have got the pink color which is matching here. Okay, it is very near here. So you can say this, the pH of the solution is 4. So from 7 to 1, it is acidic. If you get these kinds of shades, it is acidic. If you get dark pink color, it is 1 dark pink color. That section you have to match. Okay, so in that range are matching that particular thing, then that gives you the strength of the acid or base, whether it is the acidic or the basic. If it is dark pink, that means what? It is highly acidic. So the reading from 7 to 1, from 1 to 7, you can say those solutions are acidic in nature. From 7 to 14, they are basic in nature or they are alkaline in nature. This is all we have discussed. So this pH is nothing but the scale to measure the strength of acid or base depending on the color what is impregnated in the pH paper. So universal indicator, pH paper you are testing. What color it gives in the pH paper? You are tallying that color in the pH scale. It is not any device or anything. Just you have to see, you have to match the color in the pH scale. So whichever color it is showing here 1 or 2, here 3, here 4 or 5 or 6, till 6 that is acidic. After 7 it is basic. Here the hydrogen ion concentration is going on increasing. Here OH ion concentration is going on increasing. Acid means hydrogen ions will be more in acids. In base means hydroxide ions will be more in bases. So from 7 to 1 when you are coming, when you are decreasing from 7 to 1, hydrogen ion concentration is more. From 7 to 14, as you go from 7 to 14, the hydroxyl ion concentration will be increasing. Okay, 14 when you come, it is highly alkaline, it is highly basic. 1 when you come, it is highly acidic. Weak base of 6 to 6.5, 7 or 5.5, 6 and all you can take, that is weak acidic. Okay, so when you take 8 or 9, it is weak basic. Okay, like that. So pH is nothing but the scale. Okay, so the next part, pH changes in our day-to-day life, how the pH changes there in our body. For example, tooth decay also I said, that is one of the most important questions they will be asking. Tooth decay. Why there is tooth decay? Okay, we eat many kinds of food. Okay, in most of the food we have sugars. The sugar is being degraded, okay, by the bacteria. If you are not washing or rinsing your mouth properly, whatever the leftover food is there, you are in between the same teeth, it starts getting degraded by the bacteria which is present in our mouth. The sugar is getting degraded. Sugar is decomposed or you can say degraded by the bacteria which is present in the mouth, and when it is degraded, acid is being liberated on the tooth. Acid is liberated on the tooth. That acid slowly what it will do? It will rupture. It will corrode the hardest substance on our tooth, that is enamel. Slowly that enamel will be getting degraded or it will get decomposed and it causes the tooth decay. The rupturing of the enamel causes the tooth decay. So what we are doing to avoid that decaying or to avoid the spoiling of the tooth, what we use? We use toothpaste. What we use? We use toothpaste. In toothpaste, what is there? In toothpaste, there is base. Okay, base is what? Magnesium hydroxide base is there. Okay, so magnesium hydroxide, mild base is there in the toothpaste, or calcium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, calcium carbonate, salt is there, magnesium. So usually base which is present in the toothpaste, it will neutralize the acid which is being formed in our teeth, and no reaction will take place. Whatever, if any acid is formed also, it will neutralize. Magnesium hydroxide will neutralize that acid in our teeth. That is also we discussed. That is also one of the everyday pH what is going on in our body. Okay, even when we have some burning sensation in our stomach, we have when there is excess secretion of gastric acid or a gastric juice. Okay, that is HCl in our stomach. There will be burning sensation in our stomach. What we do? We take some base. Okay, antacids we take. Okay, antacids in the form of ENO you take, or you take some syrups, that is glycine syrup you take, or some antacid gastric tannins and all you take. So what is there in that? In that also magnesium hydroxide, milk of magnesia is there. Okay, that will neutralize the acid. Acid reacts with the bit to form salt and water. Already what we have learned, the neutralization reaction in our class. In last class we learned about neutralization reaction. The same neutralization reaction works in our stomach also, in our teeth also. Whatever the acid is liberated, we are neutralizing that acid with a weak base. Magnesium hydroxide is a weak base. We are not taking strong bases here. So that is the thing. So even in the acidity in our stomach is also neutralized by taking some antacids. Those antacids, what is present in those antacids? Milk of magnesia, that is magnesium hydroxide. That is in our day-to-day life. Even if there is bee sting is there or any ant sting is there, what will happen on that part in your body? It will get inflamed. Okay, it will become red. It causes burning sensation. It causes itching. So that is because slight acid is liberated from the ants or from the bees when it stings you. So to neutralize that acid, what you will do? You will take some soap. You have to take soap and you have to rub on that. Okay, wet the soap and rub on that part. So in soap, what is present? Sodium hydroxide is present. Base is present. That base will neutralize the sting of the animal and your inflammation will be reduced. Okay, so that is about the different pH in everyday, day-to-day life, or the neutralization reaction what works out in our everyday life. So now coming to the salts. How salts are formed? Salts are formed again by the neutralization reaction. Neutralization reaction leads to the formation of salt and water. Example of salt, what we use, everyday salt, what we use, can you say? That is sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is the everyday salt what we use. Neutralization reaction is what? Reaction of an acid with a base to form salt and water, NaCl plus H2O. So acid HCl reacts with the base to form salt and water. NaCl plus H2O. So salts are nothing but the products of neutralization reaction. So if you use a strong acid, you will get a strong salt. If you use a strong base, you will get a basic salt. Okay, acidic salt, when you get acidic salt, you get acidic salt when you are using strong acid. When you get a basic salt, you get a basic salt when you are using the strong base, like NaOH base you are taking, and weak acid when you are taking, you will get a basic salt. When you are taking strong acid and using a weak base, you will get a acidic salt. So salts can be acidic or basic depending on what type of salt you are taking, depending on what type of base you are taking. So that is not so important. But coming to the chloralkali process here in this page number 30, this diagram is also very important. Many times they have asked this diagram. Chloralkali process, that is the electrolysis of sodium chloride brine solution. Okay, and most of the time they have asked about the uses of the products. The products what we get in this process, their uses, the uses of those products are also asked in the form of question and answers. Okay, the answers are here only. See, the products formed are chlorine, then hydrogen gas, chlorine gas, and the NaOH solution. Their uses, they are given here only. You have to learn these uses also. So what is the electrolysis process here? A brine solution is taken in a large tank fitted with the electrodes. What is brine solution? Brine solution is nothing but salt solution. Okay, a salt solution. So here the brine solution is introduced here. Okay, NaCl is introduced here, salt solution. And this is the cathode, this is the anode, this is the anode, positive one is anode, this is the cathode. Connected to the terminals of the battery, that is the cell, that is the anode and the cathode. These are the metal electrodes which are dipped in the solution of salt, that is brine solution. So you can see here electrolysis the dissociation of ions takes place. Sodium chloride dissociate to give NaOH solution is formed, plus chlorine gas is formed, and hydrogen gas is also liberated. Okay, so what are the different solutions or products formed here? Okay, this is the solution of sodium chloride. Once you are dipping the electrode, connecting it to the battery and or the cell, and when you are passing electricity, what is the reaction taking place? This NaCl is dissociating to give the two ions, that is H plus ions and chloride ions are formed with the formation of sodium hydroxide solution. Sodium hydroxide solution is formed, and this chlorine gas being negative, chlorine is liberated at cathode. Anode is the positive one. So chlorine moves towards anode and hydrogen gas is liberated towards the cathode. So this hydrogen gas, there is an outlet for hydrogen gas here, and there is the outlet for chlorine gas here. So these are the products. What are the products of chloralkali process? Chlorine gas, hydrogen gas, and the solution NaOH. And their uses you have to learn from the textbook. What are the uses of chlorine? The uses of chlorine are: it is used in water treatment, it is used to disinfect water, drinking water. Okay, and it is used in swimming pools also for disinfecting the water. It is used in the manufacturing of PVCs, polyvinyl chloride plastics, and it is used in CFC, chlorofluorocarbons. What we are using as aerosols in air conditioners, refrigerators, the gas what we are using, this chlorine gas is used in the manufacturing of those. Hydrogen gas, where it is used to make fuels, fertilizers, pesticides. Margarine, what is that margarine? It is a substitute for butter. Butter is a milk product, but margarine is the animal product. The animal fat is it is being made as butter. It is a substitute of butter. The animal fat is treated with hydrogen, and that is the margarine what we are using. And sodium hydroxide also has got many uses to manufacture ammonia fertilizers and many other uses. It is used for degreasing metals, soaps, detergents, paper making. All these are the uses of sodium hydroxide. So uses. Diagram in there, draw the diagram. Okay, neatly you have to draw the diagram for 3 marks. Uses, when they ask what are the 3 different products, chlorine is the product, hydrogen is the product, sodium is the product. Uses are given there in the bracket only. Clearly you have to write the uses in the form of points. Okay, so that was about the thing. The next is about the different products, different things what we can manufacture from chlorine. Using chlorine or using these products, what we are manufacturing. One of the thing what we can manufacture is the bleaching powder from chlorine. Okay, what is bleaching powder? Okay, what is the formula for bleaching powder? So bleaching powder, the formula for bleaching powder is calcium oxychloride. Calcium hydroxide, that is the slate lime, when it is treated with chlorine, that is one of the product of chloralkali process. When it is treated with chlorine, you get calcium oxychloride plus water. Okay, what is the chemical name of bleaching powder? Chemical name of bleaching powder is calcium oxychloride. Oxychloride. So everything, the manufacturing thing, everything is there in the textbook with equations. You have to learn everything here uses. One question is definite from this bleaching powder or sodium carbonate or sodium bicarbonate or calcium sulfate or plaster of Paris or gypsum. Very important part about this in the salts that you have to learn. Everything is important in this. One question definitely they will ask from this part, that is the last part of the second lesson. So that is about the different products what you can get. The first product what is you are going to get is the calcium oxychloride, that is the bleaching powder. It is manufactured by using calcium hydroxide treating with chlorine, calcium oxychloride liquid. What are the different this thing? Bleaching powder, where you are using bleaching powder? You use bleaching powder in bleaching the paper. When you manufacture paper, what you are seeing, the paper is very white in color, but when they are manufacturing, it is not white, it is somewhat creamish, yellowish in color. So to make it white, pure white, what we are doing? We are treating that paper with the bleaching powder. It will remove all the impurities from the paper and make it white. For bleaching clothes also, for bleaching paper also, you are using bleaching powder. And even for disinfecting the water, to kill the germs in the water, drinking water is being disinfected. How? By using bleaching powder. Okay, and we are also using this bleaching powder is also used in many of the industrial processes for oxidizing the substances. In industries also they use bleaching powder. So that was the uses of the, that is the use of bleaching powder. Next is the baking soda. Baking soda is the raw material for making baking powder. What you are using in your houses is the baking powder. Baking soda is called sodium hydrogen carbonate. Baking soda. Sodium hydrogen carbonate. It is alkaline in nature. It is a base. Okay, it can be even used to neutralize the acid also. Okay, baking soda. And how it is got? By using sodium chloride plus water plus carbon dioxide plus ammonia, NH3. Ammonia is also one of the raw material used, and we get NH4Cl, ammonium chloride plus NaHCO3. Okay, so that NaHCO3, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate, that is the baking soda what we are using. In this baking soda is used, this baking soda, when it is added, some tartaric acid they will add for this. Tartaric acid is being added to this. This is a weak acid, it is an organic acid. It's added. Okay, tartaric acid you get from tamarind. Okay, that acid is added to sodium bicarbonate. You get baking powder. That is also the same like sodium carbonate only, but extra what they are adding? They are adding acid. This is highly alkaline. To reduce its strength, to neutralize to some extent, we are adding a weak base. That is tartaric acid. You get, again what you get? You get baking powder. Where you use baking powder? You use baking powder to make crispy pakoras or whatever you do in frying things and all, you will use. Okay, so what is happening when you are treating this baking powder with water, or when you are heating it, what escapes through that? Carbon dioxide gas escapes through that hydrogen, sodium hydrogen carbonate. And because of that only, the whatever the thing, pakoras you are making, or the thing you are making, it will become soft, crispy it will become, because there is addition of carbon dioxide gas from the sodium hydrogen carbonate. Because of that only, it will become somewhat fluffy. Okay, so baking soda, for making baking powder, what you do? From baking powder only, from baking soda only, you are making baking powder, and it is used in many of the household things. The nutrient is also a nutrient. Okay, baking powder is also a sodium hydrogen carbonate is also a nutrient in antacids. Antacids in the sense what you take to neutralize the acidity of your stuff. That is also one of the ingredient. And the sodium hydrogen carbonate is used in the fire extinguisher also. Okay, it is used in fire extinguisher. Okay, when sodium hydrogen carbonate reacts with acid, soda acid fire extinguisher what you are using, when it reacts with the acid bottle will be there in that, it reacts with the acid to give what? To give salt, water and carbon dioxide gas is liberated. This carbon dioxide gas will put off the fire. So it is one of the main ingredient, or it is one of the main things in antacids and all, we are using sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay. The remaining about the washing soda and uses of washing soda, copper sulfate, gypsum, plaster of Paris. You can go through in your books with the equation. Okay, they will ask you how it has been manufactured. The most important thing, they will ask either the manufacturing or the uses. So that only is there in the book. You have to go through all the things there. Today I have done with the baking soda and with the the first one was calcium oxychloride, that is the bleaching powder. Their manufacture and their uses. In the next class, okay, you have to further see what are the different things, that is washing soda, then copper sulfate, gypsum and plaster of Paris, they are manufactured, how they are manufactured and their uses. You go through all the reactions, their manufacture and their uses. Very important part of this lesson it is. Surely 1 or 2 questions will be asked from this part. Okay, hope so you have understood what going through this revision part. Once again, practice all the chemical reactions from this lesson and from the first lesson. The chemical reactions are very important with the diagrams. The diagrams are not much in the first and second lesson, but chemical reactions in any form they may ask the chemical reactions. So you should be very much thorough with the chemical reactions in the first and the second lesson. Hope so you all have understood everything. Hope so you all are doing revision at home properly and preparing for your exams well. Thank you very much.